right. So how about I give you all each the opportunity, introduce yourselves, and so Raina.
Yeah.
A little background.
It's me. Well, thanks for having us again.
Of course.
I'm very glad we're in person this time and not behind our laptop. This is exciting. But I'm Raina. I am one of the co-founders of Power Pump Girls. I'm originally from Lafayette, Louisiana. Moved to Baton Rouge in 2011 to go to LSU as a kinesiology major.
Yeah.
Couple iterations of entrepreneurship later with Sherin. Power Pump Girls was founded in 2017. But in 2018 is when we really found our niche and like started getting our traction in the community and kind of establishing what we wanted to do. I don't know how much you want me to get into that, but
I can just
as much as you like. Go
spiel.
ahead.
Copy and paste that. So I'm Sherin Dawud. I am originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. Serial entrepreneur. This is my serial entrepreneurial partner. We have made many successes and many failures together.
Yep.
And Power Pump Girls is our baby and something that we are very, very passionate about.
Yeah.
So I got introduced to y'all through Stephen Lloyd, and then Stephen Lloyd, please raise your hand.
I saw him.
There he is. If you don't know Stephen, there's a local incubator in town called Louisiana Technology Park. They bring together, they're an incubator for startups. They'll work with you, whether you're just an idea or you have a group of people that are, already working something, or you have revenue. They're here to work with you. So they introduced us. And one of the things that really interested me about what y'all were doing was Power Pump Girls. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but damn, that kind of sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
So would you mind explaining to the crowd here what is Power Pump Girls?
Yeah.
But before, maybe what inspired it to be
What's
built?
The end of that question do you want?
Well, let's first start with the idea that we had no idea what Power Pump Girls was when we started it, and really for like the first year of it being a thing. We really wanted it to grow organically and become what it was without any like barriers to entry. So to start, Raina and I are event planners by background, and we decided to throw a brunch for a bunch of women in our city. And at that brunch, there were some calls on our life, and we were there to answer them. And I don't know if you want to go into detail.
So we knew we were good at intentional gatherings and like bringing people together from our event side, but there was always something within us that was really driven by service and community, giving back, and we're like, what is that thing? And so again, we started with events and just bringing women together. And we're like, something's going to come of this eventually. And it was several women within our Power Pump Girls membership that were like, we want to do something for the community. How can we give back? And we're like, yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. And through this moment we had together on a trip, we came to realize that there was an issue with period poverty, which is someone's inability to purchase period care products or menstrual products. And it was starting to become a trend, I would say, in other states, specifically New York. They had started passing the pink tax, which eliminated sales tax on these items. So we were like, this is something we need to research. So in 2018 is when we started researching the issue. And we're like, okay, we could really mobilize this membership to address this issue. And that's when we were like, we found our thing. We're a service organization. We empower women to connect with these events, with this social media, with, all these virtual means of communicating and connecting. And then serve is our other mission. And so we founded Secured, which is our main initiative now, where we address period poverty, inequity, provide education and resources around menstruation and period poverty.
Does that answer?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So what year was this when y'all started this?
2018.
Yeah.
2018.
We had like
and
an aha
y'all
moment.
have some new, we have to jump forward a little bit.
Okay.
Around period poverty, y'all made some breakthroughs recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all willing to share that?
Sure.
So first of all, the idea was happening in bigger cities, but not in a city like ours. So it's a very progressive idea to be asking the state to remove taxes on this item or this product, where a lot of men are in legislation passing these laws and these bills. They really don't give a damn about removing those taxes. And
That's revenue for the state. That's money for, infrastructure.
And so that was like a hurdle in itself, but we were able to meet with some women who were really ready to take it on. And so along with Junior League, Power Pump Girls, and a few other organizations around town, we were able to represent the bill. And in
2020. So in 2020 is when it was first brought to the floor. Representative Amy Freeman from New Orleans is who introduced it and wrote it. And it was under COVID relief. So a lot of bills were being passed to help families and individuals during that time. But then when this year came back around, we're like, look, this actually helped out a lot of people. This is something other states are doing into perpetuity. We need to adopt it as well. So again, that same group of people, organizations, those legislators got it passed for the state, and now period products and diapers are tax-free in the state of Louisiana, which is amazing.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to jump forward was because those are the kind of awesome stories, whether it's, whatever the initiative may be. 2018, y'all take some ladies out to brunch, and then you just go out to brunch, just going to brunch, and then a few years later, y'all take what y'all found to be the biggest problem and see true change come about it.
Yeah.
So amazing. So I know I jumped forward a little bit, but from that brunch, one of the things that I want to talk about is the communities that are built. And if you think about communities today, communities are Startup Grind.
Yeah.
Communities are the tech park.
Yep.
Are the alumni, an alumni association. Communities are a Slack channel. There's so many different ways to build one, to start one, and there's a lot of avenues that you can access it as well. So for y'all specifically, what was that first step to getting the community going? Now, on Power Pump Girls, I know y'all maybe do events, y'all do some different things, but would y'all mind kind of getting into, when y'all said, okay, what should we do next to get this thing going?
So first of all, the real community that we were banking on coming to our first brunch were just our friends. And I think we had counted like 7 to 10 women. Yeah. And at our first brunch, 50 women showed up. And so a friend told a friend told a friend told a friend. And when all of them showed up, we decided to capitalize on that moment and say that we were this organization that had members. And we didn't. And we didn't, but we were building it out. And so
we're all Powerpuff Girls now.
And that's just kind of what it was. In that moment, we determined that this was our community. And if you knew other women that were like you, this is their community as well. And so once we did that, we're always big on data. So we captured everybody's email. We never wanted to lose contact and connection with the people that we had met. And so after that, we just started flooding their inboxes with, hey, what do you want to see next? If you're at an event, how much would you pay to be a part of this community? What type of give back services are you interested in? How do you give? Do you give in time? Do you give in money? Do you give in kind with your work? Because we wanted to make sure that we were providing opportunities for people to give at every level.
Yeah, we wanted to make service and philanthropy attainable and cool in a way that was kind of unconventional. We were like, a lot of traditional organizations that are charitable or whatever, it's a little stuffy, or there's a barrier to entry, whether that be a fee or, you have to pay for this dinner that's $500 a plate, and then they're still asking you to give once you're there. So we're like, there's other ways we can create impact, and it doesn't require all of that. Like, we're speaking to our millennial women here, like our everyday working woman. And so we tried to make sure that in addressing that community, we made it accessible and fun and cool. So the events was a community. We had a newsletter community. We had an Instagram community. I don't even remember when we started merch, but that became a community of its own, which opened the doors for men, right?
Yes.
It opened the doors for other people that maybe didn't identify as a Power Pump girl, but they rocked with what we were putting out there. So the merch community, I'm missing something else. And then in the most recent is our podcast community. So like we've kind of iterated over time. It all kind of is encompassed in Power Pump Girls, but there's lots of ways to build community.
I love that. I am part of that merch community. So it's the out of office hat. Scott, my co-founder, there he is, look in the corner.
Hey, Scott.
I wear it all the time, and he's like, "No, you're like technically in the office." I'm like, "But I'm not though." I'm part of the Power Pump Girl community. Okay, guys, come on. No, I love that, and like as you can see, there's so many different ways. So, and y'all have really started tackling each one.
Yeah.
When did y'all start seeing a need to actually expand? Like because it's easy to think, hey, I can start everything. And for anyone here, whether they're thinking about joining, but also if people here are thinking about starting their own community, how long was the transition from having some events to newsletter to podcast, and so on and so forth? And was there any thoughts to why, hey, we're ready to move on to the next medium? A
part of that was also forced on us. One of the people that showed up at our brunch
a lot of it was forced.
wrote for the Reveille. And then another person that bought a ticket worked for either 225 or the Advocate. I can't remember. And that was at a time we were still wanting to just like kind of do it slowly and really like connect and talk and address needs. But once they put that out there, it became like this whole different ball game. It made us official.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking back. It was the 225. We were 2018 people to watch, and at the time there was
like,
nothing to watch. There was nothing to watch.
We were figuring
and they
it
were
out.
like, so what do we do? Because they're watching. And so it was like this pressure was applied throughout the years, but also was that Q&A to the community. We were literally always in constant communication on Instagram stories, newsletter, in person. What do you want? What do you want to see? And the answers were, we want merch. We want more events. We want this. And so it was always just a response to, okay.
And it took a while. Like this wasn't like an overnight community that we built. I mean, the first 50 was pretty decent. Like it took however long it took us to plan the event. But after that, I mean, we were seeing slow builds over time. Yeah. And it came because when we were asking those questions about what do you want to see, then we pocketed it. So if you want to see newsletters, all right, cool. So this month for the next quarter, we're going to focus on newsletters. Somebody else said they wanted opportunities to serve.
So did a little testing?
Yeah. So we started to build those things out as our bandwidth and our brains could understand what was happening. Yeah.
I love that. Testing, I feel like it's something we don't do enough as entrepreneurs or early, especially early stages, is realizing that, hey, you don't need the whole thing first.
Yeah.
You can put something out there just for a little bit, see if people like it and then continue or not.
Right.
So while y'all were testing, what were some ways, so y'all used, your newsletter or they were very open. You had Q&A, asking people. How did you know, hey, here's the thing to continue forward with? Let me say this. What didn't work? Let's go that route first, and then we'll come back.
So I will say we tried a traditional membership model. That did not work.
It failed terribly.
Because
membership by like paid or?
Monthly, annually, like you pay dues. That's going to support our service projects, support these events we're putting on. You get special perks. Didn't really work. It was too traditional. And we're like, we aren't fitting into this mold for a reason. What worked was merch. Every quarter, every couple months, we were dropping new merch with new slogans, cute designs. We just like wearing cute stuff.
Yeah.
And people really rocked with that. So we're like, okay, let's keep this going because one, it brings in revenue for our organization. Two, it builds community. It's great marketing. So those things worked. Membership model, not so much. What were some other things that didn't work?
So one thing that we tried to build too fast. Let's start there.
Yeah.
So our first event was a brunch, and that was 50. We were like, the next one we'll do 300 people.
I know where you're going.
And so
I know where you're going.
And it's because by trade we're event coordinators, and we know how to make it happen. We know how to get it moving. And so, I mean, we wrote sponsorship letters. We received sponsors. We got billboards, radio spots, speakers from all across the country, and it was highlighting unconventional women doing very traditional jobs, but in an unconventional way. And it was dope. It was sick. We had
on paper.
And then 30 days leading up to the event, our venue pulled out. They did not reach code, and it was wedding season. So we were struggling trying to find a venue for 2 days to house 300 people. And
for this conference we built in our minds and on paper.
Yeah, and it did not happen. And then articles started coming out and interviews started coming. 2 strikes, you're not out. And because it's called Strike, our event was called Strike. So they started playing on the name of the event. They were like, 2 strikes doesn't mean you're out. And in our minds, we're like, wow, why did that have to be the headline?
They're watching, the people to watch.
Yeah, so that didn't work.
Yeah. Trying to scale too quickly.
Too quickly was not our thing.
Not our thing.
No.
Yeah. I hear that. I mean, look, like, so I'm, what I was saying earlier about the t-shirts, very real. My very first event we had Start Grind, I strong armed some of my friends. I was like, hey, no, you bring 2 friends. Like, you bring 2 friends.
Yeah.
And we sold out event after event. And after the third one, I was like, you know what? Going big. I got the t-shirts, I got the hats.
Come on.
A little mini
COVID
conference.
hit, but looking back, very much I was in that mindset. I was definitely thinking too far ahead.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was being way bigger than it was. Who knows? But I was thinking way too ahead, and now I wear the same t-shirt every day. And Amanda, my fiance, knows it. I wear it every
Steve
single
Jobs
day.
of you, though.
Straight up. But it's very hard. It's hard to fight back with that. So what do y'all do? What do you think y'all, kind of keeps y'all in focus? Like, hey, look, here are the goals. Because opportunities come left and right. I said in the intro speech that it is so easy for someone to come up and be like, have a cool idea. You want to work on it? Be like, hell yeah, I want to work on
Yeah.
it. Why not? I got an extra 30 minutes a week. Let's do it. Like,
You do?
let's make $1 million. No, I don't.
I don't.
Those are my nap times. That's it. I'm not doing anything else.
I would say the service and the impact. Like for us, especially with Secured, seeing one that the pink tax got passed, when we look at our data and how many period care products, which is like, we're nerdy about that kind of thing, and we openly talk about menstruation and periods and products any day.
Yeah.
But like when we're looking at how many tampons we got and like how many people we've affected for the better, how many organizations we've been able to partner with, like that fuels us. And we're like, okay, there are so many more people, which is why we're in the phase we're in now with our current campaign. But that is what drives us. And then seeing the excitement of the membership to be a part of that is like, that never runs out. And so,
and even when we find ourselves like growing weary or tired, like even after we made that failure with the conference, we got so many emails and letters and text messages of encouragement telling us, you know, like, it's okay to fail publicly. It's okay, like, here's what you can do next time, or let me know how I can help or how I can be a part. And so the women that we were empowering, in turn, as our community empowered us. And so a lot of times as we're building and growing, when Raina and I are getting tired, there are women literally who are in this audience who are part of our PPG circle, and they're like, no, like, this is important work. You have to get it done.
Yeah.
And so that also keeps things in perspective and also keep us focused, because we're juggling a million things in life at all times, like everybody is. But, you know, when the charitable or the good work comes, it's easy to put it off to the side because it's lagniappe. And for us, it's not. For us, it's like our purpose and it's our lifestyle. Yeah.
Y'all mentioned the campaign.
Yeah.
So, y'all mind sharing a little more about that?
yeah.
Sure.
What is going on?
So last year, I think when we met with you for Startup Grind last year, we were talking about our first crowdfunding campaign.
Yes.
And that was just to sustain us through, we started it last summer. That was just to keep our organization up and running, because previously a lot of our revenue came in through events. And because that was no longer a thing, virtual events were no fun. We were like, we have to figure out a way to make sure the impact is still happening. So we did a crowdfunding campaign last year that was very successful. This year, because of the pink tax success, because of everything that's happening with Secured, we are wanting to start the first Louisiana-based period bank. So similar to a food bank or a diaper bank, a space where we're housing tons and tons of period care products where people and organizations can come and get them for free. So we're in the midst of that campaign, which is called Social Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yay!
y'all, okay, you know, you really grazed over the fact that you had a successful campaign last fall.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, we just like knocked that out of the park. Well, so tell us a little bit. So if anybody doesn't know about crowdfunding, what is crowdfunding?
Haha, it's like this. It's a crowd of people helping us fundraise. Now, with that, we say we killed it and knocked it out of the park, but there were a lot of learning lessons. One of which, the platform that we use is called I Fund Women. It's a platform for women, built by women. And so it's literally, it's a community.
If Power Pump Girls was a fundraising platform.
Yes, it's this thing. And so there are tons of brilliant women across the country, and they upload their ideas. It's very similar to like a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo.
GoFundMe.
Or GoFundMe. And so we did it, and Raina and I are like, we're gonna raise $100,000 because that's what we can do. And then we spoke with someone, they're very hands-on. If anyone is considering crowdfunding, I Fund Women is a very hands-on platform. But they reached out to us and they were like, okay, we're looking at how you built out the spreadsheet, but it's looking like your number is gonna be around like 50, not 100. And we're like, all right, cool. Okay. Cool. And so we did.
That's what you think.
Right. And then it ended up being around 60. Yeah. It ended up being around like 60,000, but it was eye-opening too, because again, as founders, we dream big. I can do a 300-person event on year one. You know, or I can raise 100,000 with my first capital campaign. And a lot of people can. But with what we were doing and how small, because we wanted anyone to be able to get in and do some good work with us. And so, I mean, we nickeled and dimed our way all the way up to 60K, but we got 60K and we were able to impact our community. And so you were asking, like, what is crowdfunding? It's literally phoning a friend and saying, hey, this is my project, this is why it's important, and here's how you can be a part of it. And you literally do that with everybody in your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your cell phone, the gas station, everything.
Everyone.
We literally were like, anybody that would listen, will you give us something? You know?
And it's different than traditional fundraising, I would say, because no one gets equity or a part of your company. There's really no trade-off other than like you're helping this idea.
There's no equity in this one.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Not,
Yes.
yeah, not for
Got
us.
it. And then now, what about now? Is this one equity based or
No.
is this purely funded?
It's purely
Got it.
fundraise.
Got
Well,
it.
and also because we're a 501c3.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fair
So
enough.
you can't, we don't own it. It's
Right.
ours, we're the founders of it,
Right.
but technically
Yeah.
we don't own it.
Yeah.
It's
You know?
community driven for the community.
So taking for what? Okay, so you raised, your goal was 100. Before we even come into what's happening now,
Yeah.
goal was 100. Raised 60. I'd still say, hey,
That's a
y'all
win.
did great.
That's a
'Cause as
win.
entrepreneurs, hey, you're shooting for the moon, but
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, if like I'd jump on that little rock, in between, like I'm
Yeah.
cool. I'm
I'll
cool.
ride the meteor.
I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
I'm fine with that.
So what did y'all learn from that one that you think, we're taking to this one might change a little bit?
Setting realistic expectations.
Yes.
Number one.
And what is the goal?
30,000.
Yes.
30,000.
30,000.
Perfect. And this is for the period bank.
Right.
Correct.
Got it.
And it's
Okay.
really just the start because that's going to take ongoing funding, right? But this is like to get it geared up. We always had products in stock, kind of. It was always like in and out, and now we're like stockpiling. But 30,000, that was one of the lessons, was like set realistic expectations. One thing that we learned, but we did really great at, was communicating throughout the campaign last time. We made sure all of our donors were up to date. Again, that we were talking to any and everyone about this, whether or not they could give, just letting them know about our organization and our initiatives, the impact they were doing.
Something that was really cool that happened with our first one, because we were so communicative with everybody every single time, we had a viral moment in the middle of the pandemic, and companies like Wayfair and Bumble and
Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel, I don't know if y'all
Oh.
know who that is, but we kind of freaked out about that a little bit. But like they started like reaching out to us and following us on Instagram and keeping up with us.
Reposting our content.
And so those were moments for us where we were like, wow, all this little work that we're doing in this pocket in Baton Rouge, Louisiana is being acknowledged and recognized by people across the country that are bigger than us. And as a founder of something, you always feel like what you have is much bigger.
Yeah.
And people just haven't caught up to what it is that you see yet.
Gotcha.
And so that was one of those moments like, wow, people are starting to see the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so when you have those, because I feel like so many of us we're thinking about starting something,
Mm-hmm.
maybe people are doing something. Okay, there's a lot of little work that goes into it, like this day in, day out. You know, whether you're talking to customers or just behind the computer all day.
Yeah.
When you have Zoe Deschanel, Wayfair, Bumble reaching out, what do you just take that inspiration, or is there anything that you're like, okay, double down on this?
Oh, yeah.
So in that moment, is there any moments that you guys felt like, okay, now is the time to really highlight this part of my business, or this part of the campaign, or this part of the initiative?
I know, like, one of the things we did immediately was ask for everyone's mailing address.
Yes.
We're
like,
big on
sending you
sending
something.
cards. Like, we are very big on sending friends, family, customers, clients, like thank you cards, very custom. And we wanted to make sure that everyone, whether they did something for us or not, even if they just reposted something and shared it with their platform for 1 million people to see, was super impactful for us.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, with the algorithm or the equation that iFund Women came up with, we were only supposed to raise 30. But because these platforms were sharing to their networks, we were able to tap into an extra 30 grand.
Right.
And so to us, that meant a lot. And so going that extra mile, we doubled down. We're like, hey, Zoe, sorry, Mike, sorry. So we like doubled down. We're like, hey, can we send you our merch? Can we send you a little bit of information about what it is that we do and how we do it? And so, those are a few moments.
And then I think for us, even from the onset, I know we say a lot that we didn't know what we wanted Power Pump Girls to be. We didn't know all the logistics and the formality. But one thing I think we were always really clear on is like what we stood for. And I think that's really important as a founder, as an individual, as someone who's a contributing member to society. We knew service was big for us. We knew education was big, empowerment. Like we just love being around women, empowering women. And so those things never changed for us. And we've just gotten stronger and stronger with it. And so when we have viral moments like that, it's because that content is rooted in those values. That content is rooted in what we establish is like, we're not wavering from this. How we present it and how it comes into life and people share it and experience it might change. But those values have been there since the beginning. So that is something we're like, that's it. That's Power Pump Girls.
So our talk in November was a lot about, or October was a lot about being mission driven, and you guys, y'all have stuck to that very strongly.
Yeah.
I came in here, we're talking about being professional, and Shireen's first comment, she was like, "Well, who really says what's professional?" Okay,
Right.
first and
we
foremost,
create that culture.
I love that. So,
I took 2 shots of
What-
tequila. Which is, that was the professional
I walked up,
moment.
complete joke. I'm like, excuse me. I say, excuse me, we're about to do an interview here, okay? What are y'all doing? She's like,
We had a long day.
We had a long day. I'm like, okay, good. So what y'all have done really well, and I have to applaud y'all for, is that continually, month after month, and in the last 2 years that I've known y'all have stuck with that mission.
Yeah.
And y'all have not wavered. Has there been times where y'all felt y'all have veered off course? And if so, is there a moment where you guys talk to each other and say, I don't know. I don't know if this is it. I don't know if who we partnered with was right or how we've made this decision was right. And is there a conversation that happens? Do you have maybe a story around, getting realigned, whether it's meetings y'all have or what have you, to get missions aligned?
Yeah, I mean, we've had, I'm thinking of a lot of
Me
different
too.
examples, but we've had people that weren't mission aligned that have been a part of our journey. Event types or even service opportunities there was one point we were trying to do too much as far as service. So we were trying to tackle race relations and education inequity and period inequity and all these things. And we're like, all right, this is a lot. Although it all falls in the umbrella of service and empowerment, we're not honed in enough. So that was an iteration. Again, people, even merch. We've had merch that flopped that were nah, maybe it was not really
right
in our. So I have a lot of examples. I can't really think of one.
Yeah,
that's
but no,
strong.
I'll say, because I think, just from the
But
outside
it's always
looking
a
in,
conversation.
y'all's brand has really stood up to the things that y'all want to do. And every time I talk to y'all, it feels like it's happening. But I know for sure, behind the scenes, it can't be that
Pristine?
easy. No, it can't be easy. No, it can't be easy.
There's some wrinkles in there.
For sure. So in regards to finding alignment around, your mission, everything, how did y'all come across I Fund Women specifically? Because it seems very,
Perfect.
Perfect for what y'all doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it had to be on Instagram.
I think it was
Yeah.
Instagram.
and
The algorithm, it found us.
Okay,
It
found you.
did.
Okay.
It did.
So next question, for anyone here thinking about crowdfunding, thinking about, using it as a tool to fund their business, nonprofit or for profit, what made that a tool for y'all?
why did we choose that
Yeah,
one?
why did y'all choose that? Because there's obviously fundraising efforts that you can
Yeah.
do for investors or other organizations.
That was an easy answer for
Yeah?
us.
Yeah.
And it was because I Fund Women was mission aligned.
Okay.
They believe in empowering women and creating equitable opportunities for women to get money for their projects and their companies. And so when we stumbled across it, their owner, their founder is a woman. They have a very diverse team. It's everything that Raina and I believe in packaged into this crowdfunding platform. And when we looked at them versus the Indiegogo or the crowdfund or the GoFundMe, it just felt so right. They understood from the very beginning what our barriers were gonna be. They told us straight up, women get less than 3% of venture capital. Black women, it's 1%. And when we saw that number, we were like, wow, we are up against a whole lot of bull crap.
99%.
99% of people who are getting this funding, and we're the 1% that's out there searching for what's left. And so they understood that, and they were positioning us each and every step of the way how we can get this funding.
And unlike a lot of other platforms, they literally give you the playbook.
Yeah.
They're like, this is how you set yourself up to be successful. And a lot like ourselves as founders, they are attainable. We had 2 conversations with the founder of this company who literally listened to what we had to say, gave us tools, and was like, go and be successful. They were accessible. And that was huge for us.
And not to mention that outside of our crowdfunding, the founder, they sent out this application, this link, and I remember doing it in the height of the pandemic.
Yep.
And I had to send in a video recording, sent it out, didn't think twice about it. The founder called Raina and I personally and we're like, I mean, y'all are a nonprofit. You're one of the people that don't really fit into this mold, but we wanted to give you the opportunity. And they connected us with American Express and acknowledged our company as 100 Black women doing the work in the community. And they provided us with $25,000 extra and with 100 days of resources to help us gain business
and yet
acumen.
another community of 99
because-
other business owners that
That's awesome.
we now are connected to.
Yeah. And it was really because, as a founder and as a woman, she knew what we were up against. And she's like, these girls are doing the work. and they're accessible. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It wasn't
It's
really
not
a question.
easy,
we were just like, this is our
This is
platform.
it.
the decision was easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, coming back to Secure now. This
Okay.
is the goal.
Yeah.
What is your fundraising target?
30,000.
30,000.
Yes.
And are you live now?
Yes.
Yes.
We live.
So how does everyone here access and learn a little more about the current campaign?
So the easiest thing to do is just go to our Instagram page and click the link in our bio. But there are a lot of different ways that you can get involved and to help us. One is the Instagram link. Another one is to actually purchase merch from our website. All of the proceeds go back into our programming. So you kind of get a little bit of like do good and something that kind of incorporates you into our community. There will be a day and a time where we need help doing distribution and packaging of products. Our goal is to be in 15 distribution centers across 5 cities. And so that takes work. If you know someone in the market that's in Lake Charles, Lafayette, New Orleans, or Shreveport, then we are looking for people who are willing to house some products where anyone from the shelters, the prisons, or girls who are missing school can have access to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so with all this nonprofit work, y'all are very unique, and a lot of the guests that I have, you're the only nonprofit organization that's ever been on. Okay.
Yay!
How do you sustain? How do you make a living? How do you know? Because there's a lot of
It's the Lord's work. It's the Lord's work.
Yeah.
How do you? Okay, no, it's not easy. But no, I'm curious though, because so many people, whether it's a for-profit company that doesn't make revenue, or we're thinking about something, or people want to get into nonprofit. Yeah. How are you utilizing the rest of your skills? Because clearly y'all are in a better organization, a little bit of marketing. Can you explain a little bit about how y'all try to sustain yourselves outside of the nonprofit?
Outside of it, sure. Yeah, so we have a digital marketing agency. And so that we took on Power Pump Girls as a client because obviously we have to do the marketing for Power Pump Girls.
Of course.
But that has really been able to sustain us. We're really gifted in branding, we're really gifted in storytelling, and we're really good with like positioning companies and how they want to look, feel, and sound in the world.
In the same way we did with
In
Power
the same
Pump
way that
Girls.
we did with Power Pump Girls. And so, to be honest, Power Pump Girls, we started in 2018. We didn't get our first check from Power Pump Girls as executive directors until 2020.
Yep.
Literally. And so that was a really huge moment for us because we really never wanted to take any money from the organization. We really wanted to be fueled by the work. And I know that sounds really crazy, but
yeah, well, we're serial entrepreneurs. So one of our other taglines for our t-shirts is only hang with hustlers. We are going to figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah.
And for us, Power Pump Girls sustaining as an organization was a priority before we got a check.
Yep.
And so that took 3 years before we were able to pay ourselves. And even that was our board member saying, you two need to be compensated. You've been doing this work for free. And it still was like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like it's an organization, it's a nonprofit. So we have our own businesses on the side. We're hustlers. We're going to figure it out to make sure we're okay, but more importantly, that the work is still being done in the community.
And sustaining is like, for us, so fundraising is not easy work.
Right.
For one, you have to be really comfortable with asking people for money. That is sometimes it makes you literally cringe, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
And that is one of those things that like we had to get comfortable with and get comfortable quickly because Power Pump Girls actually was not a 501c3 to start. We were a for-profit. We converted into a nonprofit and immediately were like, oh shit, we gotta write grants. Didn't know how to write a grant. Still to this day are having difficulties with grant writing. But we had to get really creative on how we were gonna sustain it. And that came through merch. We were like, hey, let's come up with a t-shirt. Somebody will buy it.
Yeah.
And then we did. And then now it's a whole thing that like brings substantial income to the nonprofit. And then it's now, thank God, we can do events again. But we just started finding different ways, whatever interests people. You said you like events? Here, pay to come. You said you want merch? Here, buy this. And we just started creating pockets of ways to like really build it.
I love that. I love that. Hey, our main sponsor here at Startup Grind is Mentor.
Yeah.
I run Mentor.
Yeah.
So you have to connect the things that you do.
Yep.
I like that. And especially because y'all have that community to support it as well. And one thing I love that you said is like you have to get comfortable with people asking people for money.
Yeah.
So in that step to go in and start asking for money, how do you go about it? Like because Because what is it? You just send out an email and say, hey, please give me money. And
yes,
we've tried that.
Well, and specifically, we tried that. And specifically, so I guess what I'm gonna get to is like the activation of your community.
Mm-hmm.
So you've spent all these years and you've built your community.
Yeah.
You've been a part of a community. There's moments, hey, we'll send an email out to you guys and be like, hey, come support X. Hey, we'll send an email saying, hey, please support, Raina and Sherin, right? But what was the step for you to go do that, and how do you become comfortable? Like,
I think it was at having a board.
Yeah?
Yeah, so you set your team up for success. So we gave our board really pushed us to be comfortable with asking, but then they're like, what do we need to be able to go and do the same? So what tools, what exact verbiage do you want us to use when we're asking for these funds, that sort of thing. And then same, like you'd use your inner circle, like, okay, Sherin, I'm looking for this amount of money. If you can't get it, this is what I need you to talk to people about, whatever. Like you set them up for success. And then just practice. We literally will be in our office like pitching to one another, or we'll send each other draft emails like, does this sound good to send to this company for an ask? Because we're making sure, like, it just takes practice and really getting over that barrier of fear. Just like, it has to happen.
I remember one time, because you said like, have you ever just like called and said, hey, can I get some money? There's a foundation in town that we literally did that for. And we asked for a certain amount of money and we had to meet with the president of the foundation. And this was our biggest, it was like, oh, okay, we really don't know what we're talking about moment. And when you face a lot of those things, it's really to cultivate you for the next moment. And you take those lessons and you learn and and so we're like, yeah, we'd like a $15,000 grant, or it may have been $30,000. I don't remember.
I don't know which foundation you're talking about.
I can't say.
Okay.
So we were like, we might want to give next year.
Okay.
We were asking for something, and so he breaks it down, and he's like, okay, so I need you to justify this ask. And we're like, all of these people, they need help, and we're here to do it, and this is like the breakdown of how we want to do it. And I mean, he was basically saying that our math wasn't mathing. And so you really have to be prepared for those conversations. And, I don't know what communities you all are a part of, but in my household, and I'm sure in Raina's household, asking for money was not like a conversation. And how do you present yourself to a company when you're asking them for money? Yeah. What resources do you need to come already with? Yeah. Do you need to tell them that you already have a certain amount raised? Yep. What are you doing with it? If they're looking for an ROI, how do I plan on giving you this money back? And of course it sounds like easy, but then they start getting nitty gritty.
No, it's not.
They drill.
Yeah.
What are some of the basics? So now y'all coming out of it, and we just went through a fundraising campaign too. What are some of the basics that you guys, I'd love to talk about this, that you guys have seen or will be necessary? Like, hey, if you're ever thinking about fundraising, do you have X, Y, and Z? Because if you don't, forget it. Or go back to the lab and get to work.
Yeah. One question that they always ask us is, who else is funding this? Or do you have any other backers that are a part of this? They want to know that their money isn't the only money on the line.
That you're not banking on their check. Yeah. At the time, now I remember you were asking that, we were only banking on that check. So he was like, okay, well, break it down. And we were like, just having all of your bookkeeping, whether it's like an ask for something that has yet to come, or if you have data to prove that this is a viable ask, show that. And we had all the data he was asking for, just not at our fingertips. He's like, well, where are the event numbers? Where is the data that shows you've distributed X amount of products? We had all that, just not in that meeting. Right. So just being really prepared with literally any and all numbers for your company.
Yeah, so if it's a new idea, what is it gonna do and what impact is it gonna have? If it's a current idea that's already out in the world, come with your data, come with your information, come with your ask, be solid with your ask.
Did y'all have a fundraising deck? Did y'all have to put one of those together, or a one-pager?
We had a one-pager, and then we had a very solid email, or so we thought, and then...
that was
best email.
Really early on, but we learned a lot.
Yeah,
and we ended up emailing the president after, we're like, thank you for being so hard on us. We needed that as a learning lesson, so... Yeah, and now we do yoga with them. So hey,
so some success.
Hey, we're building a relationship here.
I love that. I love that. Now that we're going into secure and we're raising this money, are y'all willing to take more? Or if y'all what kind? No, I'm curious. So is the goal the way it works is if y'all don't hit the 30, do y'all still accept the full amount? or if y'all go over, do y'all just continue taking?
So that's
in more
also
money?
a good perk that I was thinking that I forgot about with iFund Women. It's not like, I think Kickstarter, if you don't raise the full amount, you don't get any of the money.
Right.
With iFund Women, you can raise 2% and you still get it. Whatever you raised is your money.
Good.
They do take a percentage of it, of course.
And that was another thing. They really, they iterated their business a couple times by listening to founders. At one point, they held all the funds until the end of your campaign. And so many founders were like, we literally need this to continue to run the company while we're doing this campaign. So they deposit it as you raise it.
Love that.
Okay. I forgot the question though.
I did too. That's why I looked at you.
If it's too little or over. No. So we get the funds regardless. And if it's over, this is just the start of the Louisiana Period Bank. So that's going to be something that's ongoing.
Yeah.
So if we raise over 30,000, that's completely okay because we'll need to continue this program. Yeah.
Okay. So now for the future, what is that y'all can share? The future of PPG, of Secured. So what does the next 3 years look like for y'all? From a vision standpoint, y'all willing to share?
Yeah, something we said really early on, once we kind of figured out what Power Pump Girls was that we wanted to have membership across the country and just have these different pockets of Power Pump Girls groups, and really just having this, like the mission and vision, replicated elsewhere. It doesn't have to be exactly like here in Baton Rouge because every city can be a little different. People are different. But just having this mindset of women are better together and empowering women to connect and serve. So that was one of our ideas from the very beginning. We're not at that phase yet, but I would love to see that in the future. We could do this forever, but that's not,
right.
We'd like to pass the torch and allow it to grow.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in 3 to 5 years, though. I think we still have some runway.
Fair enough. Look, so one of the things I asked, I was speaking to someone I just met. My name is Kate. I don't know where she is. She said she's moved to Baton Rouge, and my first question was, why? Why would you move to Baton Rouge? But I asked this everybody, why, not only why do you move to Baton Rouge, but why do you stay in Baton Rouge? So first question, why do you stay in Baton Rouge?
Wow, we almost left last week.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. Of all the places that you could go and all the places that would be, I would say, slightly more accepting of the initiatives you have and potentially more support from an investor standpoint, why do you stay in the city?
Wow.
Oh, I know.
Did you send us that one in the email?
I did not. I did not.
Prepared.
I would have thought about it.
On purpose, no.
Yeah.
But,
I thought I had an answer.
So,
Steven, where's Steven? Steven probably has a list.
God.
He's like,
Steven, help us, Steven.
Steven's like, I have a PowerPoint of why you should stay in Baton Rouge.
Thank you.
I keep it updated every week.
That's so hard.
I know, no, completely. I asked this because I guess the bigger conversation, I always ask this question in one way or another at the end is because we're a small town. We're small town entrepreneurs. Our entrepreneur community is not well developed.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
They are there, but it's not well developed. And one thing that I hope to inspire a little bit of people that I don't know or those that I do is what can we do more? What can we do more that we can work with this community, grow this community? So if it's not the answer of why stay, why come?
Yeah.
Let's do it the other way around. Why come to Baton Rouge? I'll start.
Okay.
Startup grind.
There you go.
LSU.
Yeah.
We have
culture.
a thriving downtown at certain periods of the day or week.
I'm
What's
screaming.
that?
I'm screaming.
No, but if you come to this town, you can be connected to any single person
That is
Absolutely.
true. That
through
is
one
true.
introduction.
That is
Through
true.
one introduction, you can meet anybody you want in town.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's one thing for me that I see as a benefit that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah. So I'll say that because
Yeah.
neither Raina or myself are from Baton Rouge.
True.
Yeah.
She's from Lafayette, I'm from Shreveport, and we were able to come here and make Baton Rouge home and then create businesses in this community in a place that we were not born in, a place that we are still fairly new in. I say new, but like 10 years now.
Yeah.
But like we've always been bubbling underneath the radar, and it wasn't difficult for us to say, hey, I have this idea or I have this dream or I have this vision. Who do I need to speak to?
Yep.
Who can connect me? And there was a person that did that for me.
Yeah.
And so if you ask me, like, why do I stay in Baton Rouge? There was one particular woman who I will always give credit to. She opened up a ton of doors and introduced me to a lot of people. And I vowed to do that same thing for women that came behind me.
Yeah.
And not even just women, but people in general. If they needed a contact, if they needed to meet with so-and-so, I wanted to be able to do those things to set them up in the same way that someone else set me up.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, it is very easy to do that here in Baton Rouge.
Yep.
And I don't feel like I'm not gonna say it's not competitive. It's a very competitive place, but the barrier to entry is not as tough. If you have an idea, if you want to meet someone, if you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this, I think, and y'all, look, I know this just being from, I'm obviously, I don't have an accent, but I'm from Iran. I was born in Iran, right? I came from Southeastern, came to Baton Rouge. No one gave a damn about who I was, you know what I mean?
Same.
But what I found is there's a lot of people in the city ready to be engaged with you who are also feeling what you feel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the city, and when I met y'all, I felt the same thing. Like, man, y'all were, I was like, hell yeah. I was like, hell yeah. Like, they get it. Because there's a lot of people who like don't get, aren't in that group, aren't in that clique yet. And then one of the first things I said here is like, let's break those cliques.
Yeah.
Be ready to go to coffee. Be ready to grab lunch with other people, no matter who they are. Just because the future of the city depends on it. Okay, we can keep it the same way it is. We can go the same slow pace. It won't work out for us, in long term, right? Yeah. So one of the things I just love what y'all are doing. I love that the mission y'all have been y'all set on, and I hope y'all do it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate everything. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.